Welcome to this week's YouTube, where we're discussing a few pack ailments that occurred this week. As we mentioned in the wolf logs last week, we do have a little bit of a infection with Malik and an abscess tooth, and you actually saw Shadow there with a deer head and getting a little excited. The abscess tooth is being treated with antibiotics, and we're not getting as much recovery as we'd like, and we will continue to treat with some antibiotics, and if necessary we may have to do a quick immobilization and maybe pull a tooth. But so far you wouldn't know by looking at Malik that he's having some issues, but it is something that we're kind of monitoring. Here you're seeing Shadow doing a little guarding behavior of his deer head, and that's actually a good sign. He'd been having some issues about eating large prey, about being able to defend food from Malik, and you can see here he gets pretty excited about this deer head. We're still supplementally feeding him 2 to 3 times a day, again just to really get his weight back up and to make sure that he's he's doing well and processing his food well. But at this point, we are very happy with the results of him showing a little bit more willingness to defend food. And again, he takes the deer head into the den with him, guarding a little bit from flies. That is a little bit of a problem. And you're going to see what's called a head shake. It's actually kind of a combination between a toss and a shake. He's trying to separate the hide from the meat, and that's a very common feeding behavior. Another common feeding behavior you might see is plucking, where they actually take mouthfuls of hair, pull them out, and spit them out in order to, again, get down to the meat. So that's been a good thing. And so, again, with the abscess of Malik's tooth, we really do not see any problems with him eating. That's never been the issue. It's just that the infection does have a little bit of a swelling and is prevalent on the outer cheek, and so it means that it's abscessed fairly significantly. We will continue to monitor this situation, and we noticed, just kind of looking back through the old logs on our other retired pack, Lakota, one of our retired wolves from the 1993 litter, did have 2 or 3 abscess teeth when she was older, and she also required multi-week antibiotics. So it's not out of the ordinary. This has only been 9 days for Malik to have antibiotics, so we'll continue to treat him with antibiotics until we feel that the course of action would be to pull the tooth. So there's always something going on here, especially in the retired pack. But again, we're happy to report Shadow's eating. He certainly has no problem right now in this particular incident of defending the food from Malik. And again, we hope this carries forward with large amounts of food. Again, we'd like to get them back to the point where they're eating carcasses and beaver. We are feeding things like a deer torso and maybe a couple of deer legs, but our concern has been that Malik takes over and doesn't allow Shadow to eat, and so that's been our concern. So this was a good observation for us to see that he is showing a little more assertive behavior. And again, Malik's cheek is, I don't know if we're going to see a view of it on this particular footage. He's resting comfortably on the den. You really wouldn't note it by looking at him. He certainly looks healthy. He's alert. His eyes are good coloration. He has no problem feeding, so that's, again, a good sign. Back in the exhibit pack, we are seeing, again, Grizzer not being very proactive about Denali's testing. Maya's taking a little more active role. You see her do a hard muzzle bite here on Denali, but Denali's just overall just a young animal looking for opportunities. That's what young animals do. In the wild, a young animal like this may be a disperser. It may be an animal who's just not satisfied with their rank in the pack or where they fit, and they may pick up and leave the territory and try to find a mate along the way and reestablish some new territory. So Denali's doing what young wolves do, getting involved in a little bit of testing behavior. But again, he is a fairly calm 2-year-old. He has his obnoxious moments, but I've seen a lot worse. I seem to recall Grizzer when he was 2, and I would say he's better than Grizzer was. And so we're again, watching those, we do anticipate that there's going to be some kind of heightened interaction or standoff between Grizzer and Denali before it's settled. We are watching Maya, again, looking for who she's planning to pair bond with, who she's going to associate with. You see her resting there with Grizzer. Certainly littermate bonds are the strongest bonds, and this is something that we see over and over again. This day of filming is actually the day that Aiden, the day after Aiden hurt himself Aiden had a little mishap where he was having some dominance from Maya and Grizzer and got his leg caught in the rock, and he was kind of getting had what we thought was a knee injury, but may have been a hip joint injury. This footage here that you're looking at right now is Friday. His injury happened on Wednesday. He had 2 days of fairly subdued, not wanting to get up, not even putting weight on his back leg, and staying out of the pack dynamics until this day on Friday morning when everything seemed to be better. You still see a little limp, and actually it's his back left leg. You'll see kind of swings wide with that back leg, and certainly, a hip injury is going to take a little time to heal. He, as I said, he got his leg caught between two rocks, and body momentum went to one way, and his leg didn't come with it, so he caused himself a little bit of injury. What we usually do with a situation like that is we try to manage the animals or try to maintain them right in the exhibit. We do not take a wolf out for medical care. What often happens is wolves may perceive that animal as dispersed and not let them back in, especially someone like Aiden, who gets so much frequent dominance. So we managed Aiden's wound right in the pack. He did well. We did a lot of supplemental feedings to try to make sure that the anti-inflammatory that we were giving him wasn't upsetting his stomach. And as you can see here, this is a responsible wolf who's probably happy to be back in the pack. Again, like I say, he was always in the pack, but he was isolating himself in the den and just not really feeling very well. And here's his first day. This again was filmed on Friday. His injury was Wednesday, where he feels pretty good and good to be back in the pack. There's always something going on in the wolf world, and so again, we want to thank you for watching. We'd also like